The Project. Kuwait. Learn. Live.
Hey everybody, welcome to this episode on Dr. Ruth. Dr. Ruth, if you know who she is.
That's right.
But
We're talking about pornography, we talk about addiction, we do talk about sex, and we talk about what the role of parents is.
Yep.
That's right. I think it's very important. So if you're really interested in the effect of pornography can do on your intimate life, why affairs happen the way they happen, and what you can do as parents to prepare your kids, I think this is the show for you.
Yeah, and if you are a guy that is underperforming in the bedroom, then this is definitely a show for you.
There might be a problem.
It might be from all that porn you're watching. So
that is true.
Sit back, relax, enjoy this episode, and if you have any questions at all, real questions, send us a direct message and enjoy the show, guys.
That's right.
All this and more in today's episode.
I love it. Can
Luciano.
It's on
You're
Rich
making fun
We're
of my
recording. I know. I'm so
making fun of my accent.
What's his name? Pacciano?
Luciano.
I have no idea.
So, anyways, yes, today I went with my friend to watch him. So his movie about his life, right?
Yeah.
But of course, it's so interesting. You find these things. Obviously, he had 2 affairs. He married his second lover.
Oh my God.
He already was married to an Italian woman. He had 3 girls. And then the last one was his assistant. She was 30-some years younger than her. So my friend and I, when we left, we were recapping. And it seems like we've only recapped these things. Like he was amazing. Of course, he was the most amazing opera singer. So why I remembered
What's his name again?
Pavarotti, right? Is that how you say it?
I have no idea. I got to be a jerk.
Luciano. That's it. It's better.
See, this is me getting back at you for you being my teacher.
I was like, yes. So anyways, so when he was born, he had some traumatic experience. I don't know exactly the detail, but when he was born, there was a struggle with his birth. And I remember you and I had a conversation about the struggles of people's birth.
Yes, 100%.
And how this makes them stronger or not stronger. And it seems like he had said something in the movie, I wish if I were recorded, where he was saying that because there was a struggle in the birth of, his birth, that it made him more vulnerable and more stronger. And maybe that would add to his success. But I also, if I remember correctly, and if I didn't, please forgive me, is that one of his child had also had struggle being when she was born. And so she also had, later on, she had some struggles with some health issues with her immune system, whatever. And she came, she recuperated from it. So he was saying there must be something about when kids from birth, when they struggle to come to this earth, that already makes them stronger to handle life.
Yep,
and that's when I remembered you.
And we're tough SOBs, that's for sure.
Yes, that's what he was saying. That, apparently, if you're going to struggle just to be on this earth, it means that you already have this power.
Yeah, we came in fighting, we're going to leave fighting too.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And it would make sense. It would make sense from what you were saying when we were talking about genetics and the triggers of epigenetics.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're coming into the world and you have to have that fight or flight kick in right away, that's got to do something. I can't help but think, when you think of the brain and how the brain's wired as a child, because your brain's wiring till you're 9 years old or 12 years old, right?
Yeah.
And then your hypothalamus fully develops by the age of 24.
That's right.
Hypothalamus?
No,
It's the emotional.
Yeah, it is. It's the one in the
Oh my
frontal
God.
lobe. So it is.
Something,
it's the hypothalamus.
something like
That's
that.
right.
I'm not going to get
Where
it right.
all the emotions are processed. That's
But
right.
I mean, your brain is still wiring. So if your wiring or your hot wire goes off automatically, that's got to do something. It's got to be some sort of a shock to the system.
And I think the idea is that, he really made sense. It's like when you are from the beginning, you're struggling. And so maybe it does tap into your ability to survive. And so later on, that's what he utilized, and that, happened with his daughter who was sick. So I don't remember exactly how he was saying it, but it was a really nice statement he made, that maybe there's something about kids that come to this world when they have struggled during birth, and this causes them to become stronger as individuals.
That makes sense.
Yes.
That definitely does make sense.
Yes. So the idea is that,
That's why I'm so cool.
so, yeah, that's why. And this also gives some sense of, confidence with women who have had babies, and there's women that have had babies that are struggling. So maybe, instead of looking at it as a negative thing, maybe this will make them stronger as individuals.
I'd love to see research. There's got to be research on it. I'm gonna look. I'm definitely gonna dig into this.
I'm sure there's research.
Now I'm really
Look, there's
like,
research
I'm
about
genuinely
everything.
interested. I know, right?
There's research about everything. So I'm sure there are some research. Definitely, if my friend Luciano Picelli, the funny thing is that I'm telling the kid I'm going to see.
Did you just see the movie?
I just saw the
You
movie
can't remember the
yesterday.
guy's
How
name?
could I not remember his name? Because it's
right.
complicated, but I know he loves pasta. I mean, God rest his soul in peace. He's dead now. But he loved pasta. And he was on Jimmy Carter. Do you remember? No, but you're too young to remember. Not Jimmy.
I'm young, but I'm not that young.
Not
Come
Jimmy
on.
Carter, not the
Jimmy Fallon?
the talk show guy. Was he Carter? I can't remember. Oh my God, what is wrong with my
Late
brain?
Night with Conan O'Brien?
No, the other one before. See, you are young. You don't remember him.
I know who you're talking about. The dude with white hair.
Yeah, the dude
old
with white hair. Was it? No, he was on Donahue show. Remember Donahue before Oprah took over?
I remember Donahue.
Okay, so no, he was on his show. I mean, at least in the movie it says. And when he went to do his show, he took pasta with him. Apparently, when he travels with a lot of luggages, and there was a lot of pasta and a lot of meat. And so when he went on Donahue show, when he invited him, he cooked his pasta, his favorite pasta, and with spicy pasta, and he had, cooked it right there and he gave to everyone, and he loved to eat it, and a lot of garlic. It was a really nice movie. I liked it. Not to advertise for it, but I liked it. I liked it because
because they're sponsoring the show right now.
But then my friend and I, we were disappointed. And first of all, I didn't have a lot of friends that know him. I mean, if you're not into opera, I mean, I don't know how people in this part of the world didn't even know him. So half of my people that I called to see, anyone wants to go see the movie with me, they're like, what? Why would I want to go see that? Especially it's competing with like Spider-Man, obviously.
Oh my God.
So my friend and I were going to this theater, and one theater had a line. And then one theater had only 7 people. So I told my friend, do you think this is our line? She's like, seriously? That's a Spider-Man line. I was like, okay. So obviously not too many people know. And then I tell the kids, I'm telling them today, I said, I went because it was a late movie, so they were sleeping. And my son is like, what, Mom? Who is that guy? What happened? And then they always make me feel like I'm like ancient. And then so their piano teacher came today. I said, please, can you please tell me, do you know who this guy is? She's like, of course, he's an opera legend. Everybody knows him. And then I said, please, can I record it? Because I'm not that old. She's much younger than me, and she knows. But really, I thought he had a really good statement. Except I was disappointed. He had 2 affairs. Come on. First, he was in love with his assistant.
It's the woman's fault.
It's always a woman when a man. Fault. Oh yeah. So when a man cheats, it's a woman's fault.
Wait, hold on.
No. A man cheats because he can.
No, women can cheat too.
No,
women cheat. We don't. Women in Kuwait probably cheat more than men.
Yes, we're texting. Yes, they're all cheating, texting. You guys are in life.
Hayes cheating on me with texting.
I hope not. But people here, women are scared to go out, so they'll like text.
I highly
men
doubt
cheat
that.
because they can. You know why? Because when their wife finds out, if you think about it, the higher percentage of women that find out her man is cheating, she doesn't leave him. When a man finds out his wife is cheating, he leaves her.
Okay.
So we're more at risk.
Well, here's my thing for women. What they could do is follow suit with the lady in Arizona, what she did to her husband.
Bobbit, is that what was her name?
I have no idea. But I think it was pretty funny, though.
It was pretty funny. And nowadays...
I mean, not funny like in the sense, but I mean she dealt with it.
She took action into her hand.
You got to give her credit. Well, hold on.
Can you imagine all these people walking around trying to, cut off the penis of their husbands, for example? Because
does that count as a swear? Because
I don't know. I was thinking
penis on the show.
What is their biological?
They're
What's the right word to say?
Oh my God, I'm totally drawing a blank right now.
I mean, I don't know. Their private part.
Yeah, you could say.
I could say private part.
Their genitalia.
Their genitalia. There we go.
But all right, since we've talked about old TV shows, genitalias, and opera singers, apparently, did you ever watch Dr. Ruth?
Yeah, of course.
Right? Was she a psychologist? What was she exactly? I remember.
Yeah, I guess she had a PhD in psychology. Yeah.
Was she a shrink? Like, what did she
might
do?
Have been, or
what was her show about?
Did she write in a magazine and a newspaper? Right? Was that New York Times?
I have no idea. I remember seeing it as a kid.
No, I don't. People used to write for her, and she used to answer them and either publish it or whatever. But then, did she have a show? I can't remember.
Yeah, she did.
Yes, and then she used to come out on the show and where people called in live and asked her questions. But now, what was her? She obviously, if we're calling her Dr. Ruth, she's PhD, but I don't know. Is it clinical psychology or counseling?
I'm looking right now. Like I'm looking her up.
I love the way we don't have a lot of information.
I know, but
we just know certain things.
She was is a German American sex therapist.
She was a sex therapist. See, we need more sex therapists.
That's where I was going with that question. What would Dr. Ruth have said about the lady chopping off her husband's genitalia?
I'm hoping she would have said, "Good job." You know,
I'm so.
What do you think? A man would probably feel like he would do the same thing. I mean, did you read on the paper the other day? Was it in the paper the other day where a woman wanted to divorce her husband and he wasn't happy about the divorce?
Yeah.
And then he had her attacked by some dogs. I mean, it was like, to make sure that she never meets another person or whatever. So the idea is that some people do really crazy things because they feel entitled and they're controlling and they don't want this property to go to somebody else. So I guess, and then obviously, I don't know what happened to him, but there was a case that, the guys like totally demolished her with these dogs. He let them loose. And
that's scary anywhere. I mean, I don't think it's just with
that is very scary, actually.
Anyone who could do
to be
that,
able to have that.
yeah.
I mean, obviously, that's why she left him because he was crazy, and she left him because he was like very abusive and controlling to her, and he was like monitoring every step, and he started to become jealous because she started a business of her own and was doing good. So the idea is that he couldn't handle because she called the police on him. I don't know. She did something where he had to spend a couple of days in prison, and he got pissed off that she did that, and so he went after her, and it's scary. But the thing is that this really says that when people feel that they are so much feel entitled to this person, especially in this part of the world, it's like a lot of times men feel like their women is their property and she is my wife. So that's why affairs, I think it's very more dangerous when a woman has an affair because the man.
Are we talking about affairs this episode?
I mean, today we're not going to talk about affairs. Well, I wasn't going to talk about affairs.
I thought we were going to talk about affairs.
We want to talk about affairs? Why people have affairs? I thought we were going to talk about something else.
What were we going to talk about?
We were going to talk about.
I love it. She's holding up the paper. She's like, sorry, I got lost between Picasso and
I was just telling you.
Dr. Ruth and David Letterman and Conan O'Brien.
I know. We could talk about affairs, but I don't know. It's like.
Let me have one and then we'll talk about it.
Whoa. Hey,
I'm hoping she doesn't listen to this episode.
I hope not, but she listens to all of them.
I'll try to catch Hey in an affair. I'm going to see if she's texting anybody and I'm going to be like.
But don't you think in this part of the world, most women are texting, most men are doing it?
I don't know. I think both are the same. I mean,
men have more freedom to move around
men
here.
Are out of the house.
Where's the girl going to go?
Men are out of the house all the time.
So there are more opportunity to. But then you wonder, they're having an affair with the woman. Where are they meeting?
Yeah, what's the woman doing? I mean, the woman might.
the woman has kids, so they're sleeping, and she's bored. He's not around. It's not our fault.
But most women have a nanny. No.
She's home waiting for him. He doesn't come, so she starts. With this social media, it's so easy to meet people.
What if she's a stay-at-home mom and he goes to work? The kids go to work, right?
What's
so
she
then
gonna do with her time?
She has the whole morning.
She could. Especially when he's not satisfying her, and especially if he's not paying attention to her, and he's making her feel like she's just the property for his kids, and that the only reason he married her is so she can have kids and cook for him and clean for him. What do you think she's going to do? Kills me when people think...
I like bringing out the angry side.
It really kills me.
The angry side.
I mean, we might as well continue talking about affairs.
Yeah, I know. Let's just keep going.
Why do men cheat and why do women cheat? I mean, the idea is that, but then also the affairs is that, it's bad for either way. But then sometimes you think about it. Now, when a man comes into my office and he's all upset about, can you believe she's cheating on me? Okay, well, you're hardly ever home. You don't give her love and attention.
Yeah.
You make her feel that her only purpose is to be able to raise your kids, be there to, she goes to work in the morning. She comes home. She's got to help teach the kids. She does their homework or help them with their homework. She cooks. I know we have nannies, but a lot of men don't like the nannies to cook, but she's supervising, right? So still, she'll have lunch with him and he'll take a nap for 2 hours. Then he's in the diwania. For those that don't know what that means, it means the diwania. He goes and sits with the guys and shoots.
Dr. Dinka is going ham right now.
Seriously. And because I get do you know how many cases I get with affairs? And oftentimes, so this is what I tell you. What I see at the clinic, when a man comes in and he's surprised that his wife is cheating or she's texting, he caught her texting.
But texting's not as bad as cheating. I mean,
of course,
if you really
but it's cheating for him, right? And then he's really surprised, especially men. that are been absent from the house, that have made her feel that she's not that important. The idea is that, or she's caught him cheating, so this is payback, and then he's surprised. Suddenly, it's a trauma
Yeah, which
for
makes
him.
sense. Yeah.
This is the culture. It is okay for a man to cheat because he's a man, but it's not okay. So he cheats, for example, then she finds out, and then they come to my office. Just a recent example. She's devastated. They've been married for a couple of years. They don't have kids yet because she's like, trying to, most of the time people it's better not to have kids right away until you figure things out. Then they marry. He loves her. I mean, this is love marriage. We're not even talking about traditional marriage that you guys hear about, this traditional between family. No, this was love marriage. And he was cheating. She finds out he's cheating. Why? You never understand. She's devastated. She's crying because she feels like she can't trust him. I mean, she's like, before this, I was thinking this. There's no way I don't trust this guy. He's a great guy, whatever. And the idea is that then you're surprised because you are shocked because you assume this person
But
married you to love
why
you.
do men cheat though? Like, I mean,
Because
it comes,
can.
but it can.
Because they
But
like
why
to.
do they seek it?
It's curiosity.
Really?
They want something new. They want curiosity.
Is it,
and because
though?
they
Is
think
it?
she'll
agree
never
with that.
find out. Look, because we're not meant to be monogamous. Let's get it. Darwin always said we're not supposed to be.
Men and women, or just women? Or
Men
just
and women. But men have taken it really serious.
Women,
Women, we have a lot more to lose, Mahdi. In this part of the world,
in this part of the world,
anywhere
you're right.
part
Yeah,
of the
no,
world.
that's understandable.
Look,
women aren't afforded
if a man
the rights
finds
that
out his
men
wife is cheating, most of the time he doesn't accept her. In this country, he will ruin her reputation, right? He will tell her family, which is, this is like the honor.
Yeah.
So he goes and tells her father and brother that I just caught, especially if he has pictures and if he has any proof. This is like honor for the family. This ruins the whole family. If she has sisters, they'll never be married. Let's take it seriously here in this country. So a lot more, a woman thinks twice before she can cheat physically. Now, she might be talking on the phone. That's not seen as serious, that she's chatting. Now, some men might get
Quite
upset.
frankly, if I ever caught my wife cheating on me, I would kill her and the man.
See?
No, I'd kill the man. I'd kill the man mainly because I'd be like, dude, she's married. Like, seriously. I'd be like, dude, like.
And then he's going to say, well, if you were making her happy, she wouldn't be calling me.
That makes sense.
But so that makes
sense. But what about the man?
cases,
the same thing could be the same case could be for
true,
the man.
but a lot of times what I've noticed is that it's not because she's not making him happy. I mean, he'll say, I love my wife. I mean, but maybe this opportunity came. Sometimes men are cheating because they think it's a one-night stand, and then they don't realize sometimes it becomes a relationship. So a lot of times men are looking for that curiosity. They feel like being monogamous might not be it's difficult. Especially when you've been with this person for such a long time and if they haven't spiced up or done anything different. And truly, there are many people out there that don't believe that relationships should be monogamous. That a lot of times we are equipped to have more than one partner and that you are capable of loving. I mean, look, in this country, you can marry up to 4, right?
Yeah.
And whenever you see that you talk to a man here,
well,
let's say he says, my heart is not meant to.
I think the lines were blurred with the whole marrying up to 4 because one story that I heard from a religious dude, and I refer to him as a religious dude because I'm not really as religious as some people.
Dude.
No, I mean, he was very familiar, way more familiar. Like he was an expert.
What it is mentioned.
We were talking and he was like, look, you can have 4 wives, but to treat them equally, to do everything,
That's what
it's extremely difficult. And he said,
he says the first one should know about the second one.
He said,
a lot of
they
times
all should know.
Yeah, they all should all know. But here you see it. They're not telling the first one, right? And plus, you're supposed to have reasons of why you marry a second one or a third one. If the first one is not capable of having intimate relationship with you, if there is some reason that is inhibiting her from becoming a wife and a caretaker, for example, then you do that. But men are not even telling, what I understand. You're supposed to tell her, she's supposed to know. She's supposed to be lacking certain qualities or, definitely intimacy. If she can't give you, she's sick, and a lot of times, the first wife, she'll say to her husband, go marry because I will not be able to provide you.
I didn't know that.
In some cases, you can find it. But most of the time, he doesn't want to hurt her feelings by telling her, I'm going to marry. But then she finds out and then she becomes, very angry because she feels hurt and distrusting of him because he didn't tell her and they surprises her. So he's allowed to be able to have these relationships when they're really supposed to be built on certain things that he's lacking. And yes, you're right. He's supposed to provide for all 4. So this is not a rule that's made for everyone. It's made for men that are financially stable. It should be meant for men that are able to be able to give them all for the same love. And definitely, I mean, think about it. Is our heart meant to only love one person? I disagree with that. We can love more than one person. And we are
Well, I mean,
able.
look at our kids. Look at our kids, for instance. Like, I love my wife and I love my son. Like, there's nothing I would die for either of them. You know,
Right.
like
So I mean, and the thing is that, but a lot of times it's the question is that is it possible that he can love his first wife and his second wife? I say yes. I don't know if we are meant to
I don't know.
only love.
I mean,
is it
it
true?
really depends.
You can love two people at the same level. Why not? Well, who says that we can't? We can.
First wife and second
maybe
wife?
you love them for different reasons, right? Like the first wife, you love her because she's the mother of your kids. She's the first wife, and you have a lot more years with her.
When you look at the love of it, all right? I mean, in my opinion, like, I love my wife. I can't justify marrying another woman or having an affair. But then again, I mean,
let's say in 10 years, right? You've been married 10 years?
Yeah,
so let's say another 20 years so Heya doesn't kill me. In 20 years, you realize that what you need, Heya cannot meet anymore. It's, for example, the intimacy level that you want, she can meet.
Hopefully I'm not like as intimate
You're
in
not
20
even.
years. Like,
but intellectually, I mean, I've had people that they will, cheating is not
Heya's
about.
a lot smarter than me.
She is, actually.
Wait. Could she intellectually cheat on me?
She can intellect. But the thing is that I've had people saying, like, for example, I had this person say to me, the woman that I'm with, he's like the woman, the second wife. She's not as attractive as my first wife, but she's stimulating. For example, it's intellectual, or he feels that she is a very simple person and they can relate. She's smart. So a lot of times, look, I truly believe that it's what happens with people getting married. They assume that when we get married, this person 100% is going to satisfy my needs. And that is unfair because there's not going to be one human being who's going to give me 100% what I need. This person I marry, I might have chemistry with them and sexually we're compatible, but intellectually we're not. But it doesn't make him a bad person. This other person, intellectually, I can speak to them. I can discuss psychology with them. Not every person is meant to satisfy us 100%. So when people say, I married him so he can be my friend and my husband and my soulmate and my, business partner, well, I think that the people are setting themselves up for disappointment because you cannot, but if your partner in life is satisfying at least 60 to 70% of what you need, that's a good thing.
60 to 70?
Yes.
I would have said
now you
like
are
75.
lucky if you. Well, it's fine. I say 60 to 70. The last 30, for example.
I'm lucky, alhamdulillah. Like, I'd say my wife satisfies me 80% of the time.
Which is good.
Or even 90. Like, I love my wife to death.
Of course.
She's an amazing woman.
And she is really.
And I'm not saying that just because we're on air.
There are some people that, like, she's a great woman, right? She's attractive, right? And she's a great mom.
And she's tough as hell.
And she's tough as hell. But no, but what I'm saying is, like, there are people that say, my wife can satisfy me in these areas. And that's fine. But it's unfair to think that they're going to satisfy me also with my conversation or things that I enjoy or that I'm specialty in. I mean, there's doctors I know, they don't go home because they're not married to doctors. And even if they are, they're in different specialty. He doesn't go or she doesn't come and say to him. So whenever she wants to talk about research or her job, she's got colleagues at work. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying that we need to find partners that is going to satisfy us that are also involved sexually. So if your partner sexually, for example, satisfies you, it doesn't mean that they have to be able to satisfy all areas of your life. I totally disagree with. And if you want to ask, can someone, be able to love more than one person? I've seen it. I'm not saying that, it never happened to me, but I know I've seen people that will say that they love both wives the same way.
No, it makes sense. If you have children, you can love your children the same way, right?
Yes,
I mean,
true.
like, you can definitely do it.
Yeah.
And if you have...
And they're the same equal. Now, some people would say it's a different type of love. Yeah, it could be different type of love.
Wait, but do parents, like, love kids differently? I don't know.
Think.
That's
you only have one. You should have another one.
That's why I'm on the fence of having another one. Because I'm like,
no,
I really love DJ and I don't want to be unfair to the next one.
I think you love them all. And I think we all say we love our kids the same way. But let's be honest. It's not like we don't like them. We all love them, but we love them for different aspects. Like the closer they are to your personality, the more you bond with them, honestly.
Yeah.
So,
but
it doesn't mean that, you're going to love DJ because you have longer years with him. and that he has their specific type of personality that he has. And I know we've talked about this where you feel like he has a lot of your personality. So you probably will click with him more. And if it's a girl, then you might, she might click more with Haya because they have similar personality. The idea is that we can. So when we're talking about people that are cheating, why do people? And and the other thing is that it exists a lot here. So you can question yourself and wonder why. I mean, I see it a lot. More than I used to see it when I practiced in the US. Why do I see affairs a lot? People are bored here, right? There's not a lot to do. We have a lot of access to cheating now, so from social media to, being able to meet someone outside in the street. People are just curious here. I feel that maybe people haven't been able.
Education too. I think there's a huge lack of education when it comes to not only relationships but sexual curiosity.
It's true.
I mean,
and maybe because they don't have a lot of experience, right?
But besides that, their number one resource. It's not taught at schools here. It's never talked about in the family. And then,
And what are their experience coming from? Pornography, right?
Yeah, Pornhub and whatever else it is
exactly.
that's online.
Let's be honest.
100%.
I mean, because you're not allowed to be able to talk to someone about sex, or when you're a teenager, for example, you're not going to go and do things with other people. And here they're very, 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 very traditional when it comes to intimacy before marriage, and sex before marriage is wrong. So most of the time you'll see, especially men, in my experience, I've seen a lot of men more addicted to pornography, which then gives you a poor concept and perception of what real sex is.
Exactly, yeah.
And you know how many cases I see in the clinic where someone is addicted to pornography and she doesn't know. Then he marries her and she's a virgin and doesn't have any experience. Then he's trying to teach her, but he's teaching her all the things he's learned from pornography, which is not realistic.
Yeah.
And then because he's addicted to this type, he's not going to find his wife attractive because A, she's not doing the things he thought she's doing. And second of all, she has no experience.
Yeah.
And instead of really being able to realize, if you're going to be...
And for the men out there, there's proven cases. Like right now, it's widely researched. I think they're seeing the most cases they've ever seen with guys in their tweens, like 20 to 30, in early 30s with erectile dysfunction because of pornography.
Actually, because they're addicted to masturbation.
Yeah, and it's pornography. They can't. They can't get stimulated by a real woman. They're only stimulated
and
by
there's
stuff
so
online.
much research, and I talk about it. When I say, well, how early did you start watching pornography? Well, most of the time it's the average, like everyone else in all the world. 14, 15, they're curious. They suddenly saw a magazine. Back in the days, they had magazine. Now they're starting to watch it on media, right? But the idea is that, okay, at 14, 15, then they spend a lot of their time because they're not busy. Now, it's normal to be able to watch it in your teenage because, this is curiosity and it's a release of a lot. Yes, it is part. But what happens? Where does a mistake happen? When these kids don't have any other activities, they're sitting in their room and they're just watching pornography for hours. And therefore, they become addicted. Not only are they getting addicted visually, they're also addicted physically because now the only way he can release is masturbating. So imagine the only way that they are satisfied is masturbation. And he really thinks this is normal. Okay. And then what happens? He marries a girl who's decent, young, she doesn't understand anything. This is the way we live around here. She's not going to have any experience. Maybe she's watched porn a little bit, but most of the research is men becoming addicted to pornography.
No, it's true. And it's a serious addiction.
She's shocked.
It's a serious addiction.
I
want to get that out there. Like, guys don't understand.
It is a very serious addiction.
They don't get it.
And we see it a lot here, and people don't get it. They think it's a normal part of life.
Doesn't surprise me.
When you're watching
it's so taboo, though.
But also, there's a clarification, and this is what we were talking about even earlier, is saying, when does something become abnormal? It is abnormal when you're starting to spend, just like, video games. Everything in moderation is okay. You're going to play 1 hour. You only play 2-3 hours on a weekend. I understand. For pornography, if you are realizing that the usage time is more than 8 hours or 16 hours, this is a problem.
Yeah.
You're getting addicted.
100%. Yeah,
and then,
that's true.
So you're asking me why they cheat. Let me tell you from my experience why they cheat. I mean, this is my experience, and people can disagree with me. Why do they cheat? Because then he gets married. He thinks, thank God, I don't have to be addicted to pornography. Now I can do it with real humans, right? Then he is intimate with his wife. He's having sex with his wife, and he cannot even, reach the climax. Why? Because it doesn't feel the same way when it was manual. And then now she's thinking something's wrong with her. This happens a couple of times. And then she realizes that he is not enjoying sex with her. And she catches him. I had a couple of cases where then she catches him that he's on pornography, or like he wants her to go to her parents' house or take the kids because he
Yeah.
wants some free time
Yeah.
because that's what he's doing by himself, right? And then she's realized, and then she's hurt. No, she's hurt. And then they come to my office crying, saying, Doc, he is masturbating using pornography. Am I not good enough for him? Am I bad? Why would he be doing this? The wife is here. He's neglecting me. He's not giving me enough sex time or sex. But then he's sitting on pornography. Can you please explain it to me? Because it is personalized now. Because if you don't understand, haven't been educated, you don't. And plus, when he married you, he didn't tell you I'm addicted because he himself probably didn't know he was addicted. When does he realize? It's because at first he knows he's spending a lot of time, but he's figured, I don't have a wife. I'm not married yet. When he marries and he continues to go back seeking pornography, guess what? That's when he realizes there's a problem because now my wife is not satisfying me and I'm looking to have something else outside. So why are they cheating? So they're cheating using pornography. Pornography is also cheating for a wife because she'll feel there's something wrong with her. Why? Because now this stimulation he got through, this addiction, he's not getting it with his wife. Then he tries to go look outside for it because he thinks maybe there's something wrong with the wife. Let me go to another woman and see. And then he realizes, hello, the problem is with you. It's not, doesn't matter who you're going to find to do it with. You are going to always come back until you accept the idea there's something wrong with you. And a lot of the cheatings that I have worked with, couples that have noticed an affair, either side, definitely the men had pornography addiction.
It makes sense though. I mean, when you have something that's so taboo in our society and then you're giving full access to it, what's going to happen, right? If you're deprived of something and you don't learn about it. And I think there is no education on porn addiction, especially not only in Kuwait, but globally.
There is no addiction.
And now, come on. How old is a kid exposed to images on Instagram of, women or men? Like, let's be fair here. Girls can be exposed to like pornographic images of someone just wearing a G-string, and it's okay on Instagram. I mean, think of when we were kids.
Yeah, that's true.
Rated R when I was a kid was like a big thing. Rated PG-13 had nothing in it. Now, rated PG-13, you're seeing, thongs in it and all kinds of crap. And it's like, where did, what's going on here? Like something's off. And it's like Instagram.
And here, because it's tabooed, the idea is that no one wants to ask the question because if you talk about, you used to see in my classes, the idea is that not that I'm talking about sex or whatever, but I teach this family class, right? Well, you can't talk about family without talking about intimacy, right?
Yeah, 100%.
And I try to be, but because here they tell you, well, you can't use the word sex. You can. So, but you want to educate them because these are adults who are going to be married. I have one married person who's older there, but the rest of them is like, that's why they take these classes is because they want to educate themselves since we don't talk about it. But it's taboo. Like sex is taboo. We can't talk about that. Okay, pornography. And you should see the way their faces is like whenever I say, well.
I bet you all the guys are like.
Yes, and the girls are turning red.
They'll probably cover their faces.
Because they're not comfortable. But the idea is that, but then, you realize once you start talking about it and realize that you can talk about it in a scientific way. I'm not talking about it in a,
100%.
I'm not talking about it in an encouragement way, but these guys, they're adults, they're in college. We're not talking, I'm talking about high schoolers. I'm talking to college kids that I'm saying that they already are engaging in pornography anyways. I'm sure that they're chatting and talking to boys and girls. I'm sure they're in a relationship. The idea, let's not be, silly to think
let's not be naive to think
because
everyone is.
There might be, I'm not saying that every person is doing that, but let's say they are more at risk of finding someone because a lot of nowadays, they want to be able to love the person before they marry. Okay. And then it's like you talk about it and they are like clues and they ask you questions like you think, wow, because they'll ask you, they never thought that pornography was an addiction that causes a problem in their intimate life. Because at first it's like, oh, well, at least he's learning. So that way, usually a mom does not sit, most of the time, majority of moms do not sit with their daughters before she marries to say, this is what we do. I know my mother didn't tell me. Yeah. Nobody tells you because they're embarrassed. They don't know how to talk about it.
My dad told me.
Well, see, maybe
no,
it's meant to men.
I'm joking. It was a joke.
But for women, definitely moms. Here you find out that a mom does not sit with her daughter to prepare her. And if the girl has any questions, she's afraid to ask her mom because that's bad. Then she wants to ask her friend or the sister who's older.
See, I always thought that was like a cultural thing where women prepare
don't
their
talk on-
daughters. They actually do. They're like, okay, we're going to
Maybe your
prepare you in
sister, if
this
you have an
way.
older sister who's married. Other than that, do you know what they tell you? He will teach you, poor guy. So hopefully he's not. But even
Wait,
if
they say he'll teach you the poor guy?
no, they don't say I say poor guy. Because this is such a big responsibility. Now they're saying he will teach you because that's what she's expecting. Oh, well, he probably has more experience. But, here they're encouraging the guy to have
Well,
experience.
he watched a lot of Pornhub.
So that's exactly right. And then
Which is messed up.
and then he's so
messed up.
stressed because he's going to have to teach her. And what does he learn? Because he also a virgin.
Yeah.
So his knowledge is from this media. And he thinks this is real. And
Which
then
is
until you
sad,
get to the
yeah.
point, this is not real.
Because it's fiction. It's fiction
No.
in general. And I'm glad we're talking about this because I think
it's important.
it's such a deep-rooted issue. Not only affairs, but I think pornography and porn addiction is such a deep-rooted issue in
And
not
it's
only
big.
our society, but globally. I mean, it's hitting teenagers in such a way. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm worried about it today when he hits 15, 16 years old because at that point, how do you monitor it?
Yeah.
By then, it's not even going to be like VPNs and whatever to cover up. It's going to be like they're going to have weird passwords and, like everything. There's going to be no way.
But this is where we come as parents. It is my job to talk to my kids. If you don't want, this is what I don't understand. Parents say they don't want their friends to tell their kids things, right? Okay, so if I don't want my kid to learn things from their friends, I should have a relationship with them where they are willing to come and ask me any question without going off.
But
Can you
parents
imagine?
here
I
are
mean, some of these
afraid.
parents, please.
here are afraid to have that
No,
relationship.
but
they want to have that God complex.
But it's
so to
okay.
speak.
I'm not meant to be their friend. I'm totally against parents who are trying to be their kids' friends.
Why?
You're not supposed to be their friend. You are the father. They can always find friends, but they'll never find a father or a mother.
But hold on, wait.
But-
hold on. My kid calls me his best friend.
Yeah,
And I call him my best
but you
friend.
can't be best friends because best friends don't punish. They
See, I
don't give
disagree with
rules.
that.
I disagree with you because when you think about it, when I say I'm your best friend, right? I'm your best friend and this is my
So
daughter.
then I don't punish. I don't.
You can. Best friends don't punish.
Best friends do punish.
not
like
gonna
friends have
respect-
arguments.
No,
Come on.
they don't
friends
punish
have
you.
arguments.
Listen to me. Just listen to me.
Yeah.
If I'm my daughter's
See,
best
this is
friend,
where you get scary.
Exactly.
the listen
Listen.
to me with the pen. That's where it gets scary.
think about it. I am my daughter's best friend.
Okay.
Fine. Because people don't understand. I could be a mom and have an open relationship with my daughter without being her best friend. For example, best friends. When I am her best friend, I have to talk her lingo. I have to dress like best friends do. And I have to allow her to do whatever it is in front of me that she could do in front of best friends, right? Then let's say I did. But then when she does something wrong, I cannot turn into a different role and say, I'm your mom now. I've grounded you for the week.
That
How?
makes look that.
Then
it-
she's going to say to them, no, there's a lot of
See,
literature.
that's a good
it
argument.
confuses
That's
kids.
a good argument. That's a very good argument. And I
So
totally.
I might as well stay the parental.
That's
But
a
I
good
can have an
argument.
open relationship with them. I don't have
But
to be
even
the
with
best
that,
friend.
but why can't I? Why can I not play the role to my child as their best friend and as being their friend and
It
an
doesn't
authoritative
work
figure?
that
But
way.
how?
You can't have three roles.
But why not?
Why? Because there's confusion to the kid, not you. The confusion to the kid. When they become
So right now I'm
teenagers,
confusing my son by
no,
saying,
because he's still small.
But
When they
when-
become teenagers and you say to them, you're grounded because you just picked up a cigarette, they're going to say,
"Oh,
I
my
thought.
kid picks up a cigarette, I'll kick his ass."
But listen to
Like,
me. You
that's-
can't kick their ass because you're
not
just
really,
the best.
but
No,
I
but you're
probably-
his best friend. They do pick up cigarettes with best
But
friends.
my best friend kicked my ass all the time. Like my buddy Dave, when I grew up with
It's
him,
not the same.
and I remember it was a specific moment. I had said something, and literally he smacked me on the back of my head. And Dave is, he was a lot tougher than me. But in general, like we had arguments, but till this day, we've been friends for 33 years
No, but
since we were like 2.
But think about it. If him,
Well, actually 3.
him hitting you across the head because he wants you to wake up and not do something bad. That's a best friend reaction. Best friends do that. That's not what
Why can't a
parent
dad do
reaction.
that?
The parent doesn't use physical reaction anyways. And for me, your friend is not going to say you have time out now. You're grounded for a week. Friends don't do these things. They'll tell you, look, I don't like your behavior. They'll fight with you. They'll scream at you because you're engaging in a behavior they don't want you to go. I understand that's friendship, but to believe me, you will have much more, existence, and you're a better resource for your kid if you stay as a parent. Again, not to confuse parent. Why do you guys act act like parent has a bad connotation.
It kind of does.
It does,
It
and
really
it doesn't.
But
Because so when you're
it's gotten
saying
a
you
bad
can't,
rap over the years. Come
well,
on.
it does, but we can
Especially
change it.
here, it's gotten a really bad rap.
I don't want my kid to think, because again, as I repeat myself, they will never find a parent, but they can always find a friend. I am the parent. I am the person that I'm their safety zone. I am the person they come when they are in crisis. I am the person that's going to provide and make them feel that the world is safe. And if there's anything that they need to talk about, I am there. I'm not judging them. So, but still, my daughter is not going to be able to pick up a cigarette in front of me or have a drink in front of me or talk in that bad language that friends do, because there is boundary. That boundary, it is so important to maintain, because when I need to use it, I will use it. But I can't go back to a boundary of a friend, to a boundary of a parent.
Fair point.
Then she gets confused. My children, well, then one day they'll be teenagers and they can talk back and they'll say to me, Mom, I'm confused. Are you my friend now or are you my parent now? And that's when you realize, maybe I did it wrong. I could be a parent and I could be a supportive parent and I could be an understanding parent, and they can ask me. And you know what? They can ask me these questions about pornography, sex, and I will talk about it. What parents need to do out here, and especially in this part of the region, is they need to educate themselves on how to talk about these things. Like we should be able to prepare our kids for sexual abuse. If anyone comes and touches, this is when you start touching you inappropriately. These are discussions we should be having.
Started having that discussion with
you
DJ
should.
Of stranger danger. And if anyone touches you in a place they shouldn't, like we're having these discussions. No,
and you're supposed to.
You have to.
There are
but
books that you can read.
Do it. People here don't do it. I haven't seen it.
I think it's two things. A, they're embarrassed. They don't know how to even approach it. Second of all, they don't have enough information.
Do you know what we've taught my son? And I'll say this on air. He doesn't, for his genitalia, he says penis.
Yeah.
Like like
I just said, and you said it's a bad word.
No, I didn't say it's a bad word. I said genitalia. But we say penis. Like he'll be outside and he thinks nothing of it. But other kids his age will call it something else, and it's an Abe area and it's this, and they're more inclined to show it and whatever, at that age. Versus DJ's like, meh, whatever, man. Like,
yeah, exactly.
It doesn't even faze him.
Exactly. You have given him a comfort zone. They need to be comfortable with these words. And because they're comfortable, they can kind of ask. But if we act like in this house, it's taboo to talk about sex. No, it's taboo to mention your private part. No, we don't talk like this. They are going to have a sense of awkwardness. So whenever my kid, if they're raised in a house that says, no, we don't talk about these private things. Two things, we don't talk about politics and sex. And if we're going to raise them believing that this is awkward, tomorrow when he has a question about it, he's going to have a question. He's a teenager.
Yeah, 100%.
Who's he going to go to? To website, right? Which is all wrong. He's going to Google it, or he's going to go to his friend. And three of them, I don't want him to give information to 100%, my kid.
No, 100%.
To be honest. So this is what we need to do. We need to open a discussion. Parents, first of all, they need to educate themselves. Second of all, because you can't give advice if you don't have education. Second of all, you should read materials together. Like my daughter, she's only 9. When I'm preparing her for her puberty, we're talking about period. We bought a book. We read it. She's reading it. I have questions for her. We are going to have this discussion. She knows what a pad looks like. This is an important. She's 9. So that way, when she has it, not like my times is like you just wake up, ooh, and then you feel bad. You think that you hurt yourself. Of course, nobody talks about it.
I think this is a whole episode on its own that we need to talk about.
This is a discussion.
We got to talk about parenting. We need to do an episode on parenting.
Yeah, we do need to do parenting.
I think that's an important one. And I think we should wrap up because you just ended it on a high note.
That's right.
Yeah, that was,
yes, education.
Yeah, even though you're a little mad at me, it's okay.
And remember, you are not your kid's friend. You are their parent. There's always a thin line, but there's also a very important boundary.
We can agree to disagree.
Whatever.
We can agree to disagree.
Yeah, when you come to me and say, I want you to treat DJ, then I'll remind you about this conversation.
Inshallah, I do a good enough job where my son doesn't have to go in for treatment.
Or he can come. No, he can come because he just wants to talk.
Maybe, yeah. But hopefully he can talk to his best friend. On that note,
whatever.
If you guys have any questions for the amazing Dr. D, who dropped a lot of knowledge bombs this episode, And we don't know what we're going to call it. Sex ed with Dr. Ruth? Or are we going to call it affairs, pornography?
Sex ed with Dr. D.
Sex ed with Dr. D. That's a good ring for this one.
Yeah.
We might get in trouble for that.
Yeah.
But we're international.
Porn ND.
All right. Thanks, guys. Any questions, DM us or DM Dr. D on this one.
Thanks for listening to this episode. If you enjoyed it, please head over to iTunes to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. You can also find us on Instagram at The Project Kuwait. Thank you, and join us next time.